Good morning and welcome to yet another MindShift Monday where we talk finances, family, and just about whatever you guys want to talk about. Definitely leave a comment in that comment section below. And we've been talking about finances a lot lately. That's basically all we've been talking about. Doing some series on that. We talked about having a side business. Definitely check that out. We spent this whole last week every day covering how to have a successful side business, what that looks like, and what that can do for your finances. So it's well worth the watch. And for those that did watch and comment, thank you for that. That was just a really good conversation there. So today we're talking about reading, and we're also really focusing on leaders are readers and why that is.
And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come.
Okay, so I'm sure you've heard the comment that leaders are readers, and it's not the other way around. Some people that read are not always leaders, but if you find a good leader, they're going to be a reader. And you might ask, why is that? When you think about that, what makes a leader be a reader? Well, I think the big thing is people that read are people that want to learn. And they're continually learning. They're continually keeping up on today's topics. They're just always learning. So that's one part. Another thing about a reader is going to become a good writer. They're going to understand how to write out their thoughts. And with that, whenever you're writing a thought out, whenever you're trying to fill out that job resume, or just leave a note for whoever, if you're a good writer, that means that you're a good communicator. And if you want to be a good leader, you have to be a good communicator. So that's what reading does for you. It all starts there. And so reading is a huge, huge deal. And I'm just so glad because today we got a special guest with us, Bill Russell, and he's all about the education side.
Yeah.
And so how would you say that being a good reader, being well read, how would that play into your side of education?
Yes, I teach the manufacturing program, and a lot of that is welding. And so the American Welding Society has put together a student certification process, but in order to get certified, you have to pass 5 written tests. And so where I've seen that it's important is students they have to be able to read well, because it's not just welding content that they have to know, but they have to know the reading portion of it as well. And the tests are difficult. I mean, I've taken every one of them, and they're difficult. I mean, it's not like they're worded tricky, even true and false. I mean, the intention is to see if they really know it, but the frustrating thing is it's a lot of reading. It's not whether they know the welding stuff, but can they read it and decipher what they're supposed to choose out of the answers.
So how do you ready the kids to be able to take that test well?
Yeah, so I found the biggest thing is using the correct terms. Not using it's not a doohickey. I mean, whatever it is trying to get them to use the right terms. And then me as a teacher, when I am teaching it or problem solving why their welds don't look good, to use the terminology that the American Welding Society uses. And it's hard because there's different words for different things, and depending on what they choose to use on that test, kids might not have heard it. So that's what I try to do. And then I also do try to force them into reading the text. So it's either reading it out loud as a class or having them read through it, because if they've never read how the wording is, you can hear it, or if you use just slang, it's not going to translate into passing scores. Okay,
so Phil talked about a little, how he gets those kids engaged and why they have to be good readers at the level that they are through being welders, whatever vocation that they want to go in. You've still got to be well read, and you've got to be able to read well. So how is it that you like to read? Do you like ebooks? Do you like audiobooks? How would you read?
So I tried getting books on my small iPhone 4S, and that was super hard to stay engaged because I want to know how many pages I'm at. But I mean, for quick quick information, I mean, I do the Google search or find a good resource, not just the Google ads. I always tell my kids that if they're trying to get money out of you, it's not a good resource. But anyways, so then, yeah, just reading through the books. I really rip through books when I'm reading them on the John, because I can just get through them. And I have not found that the old wives' tale that's going to hurt you. It hasn't hurt me yet. So that's when I rip through them. And then I found out, I used to take so long because I like write notes I read everything like a textbook, and I just want to like know it good. But so what I've been trying to do is just highlight as it goes. So when I come back to that book, I just got the cliff notes already highlighted. That's what I try to do. And then I usually end up getting bored with the book and then starting a new one. So I have a stack of 3 or 4 that I come back to. Not that that's good, but that's how I do it.
So what would be one book that you come back to? I mean, do you come back to them like once a year? Or
no,
like,
I don't come. So I have not come back to them to reread them yet.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to, and then that's why I want them have them highlighted. But I usually, like I'm not OCD, but I do like to finish things. Like it's frustrating that I have stuff unfinished. So I'll start on 3 or 4, and then okay, I gotta come back and rip through this one. So I'll get that one done.
Yeah.
And so I've got 3 that I have started right now that I know of.
Yeah.
But anyways, I do eventually get through them. Usually sometimes it takes me a year.
How are you bringing up good readers then?
Yeah, so in school, this is my second year. I've taught a leadership class, and so I called a guy from Montana that had been teaching leadership for like 30 years, and so I took some of I had some of these ideas, but he kind of verified them. But he said one thing to do is having them pick a leadership book and read. And so this year I talked to the superintendent about it, and one of the books that he really loves is Leadership 101 by John Maxwell. And I said, hey, can we get a copy for every kid? And he said, yeah, let's do it, absolutely. So it's just a quick 100-page book that's easy to read. I mean, one of the seniors comments to me, he said, Mr. Russell, I've never read through a book cover to cover. And I mean, I was like that in high school. I never did that. And so we've actually read through a book cover to cover, so he can say he's done that. We read through The Richest Man in Town by V.J. Smith out of Brookings. And then we're starting the second one. And so how I get kids to read, I think by picking a short book that's manageable and then providing time in class and then talking about it, letting the kids bounce back and forth. And I've always wanted to try this, but I gave every kid a highlighter. And these are brand new books, and I said, guys, we are highlighting these. I said, we're putting our names in them, and I said, we're writing notes in them, and I want that to be handed on to the next class, and hopefully that thing's filled up. Because I think one thing we teach treat these textbooks like they're these perfect things when that's not realistic. Like books should be, in my opinion, they should be highlighted. They should be notes written in the sides like that, and that's what I want to create with these kids. Yes, it's the other way we use reading in class. I do let kids use smartphones if they're using them for school purposes. And for instance, the other day we didn't know how to weld cast iron, and so I gave the kids my ideas of what I've heard about it, and so all of a sudden there they were, 2 or 3 of them looking up on the computer and smartphones. I just about yelled at them because I thought they were screwing around, and here they were looking up and getting good information. And so I think that's how this generation reads, is finding answers, and it's quick. And so I think, once they find that, there's a sense of accomplishment too.
So being able to read and reading well gives you that sense of accomplishment, like Phil said. But I also think you have to be a little bit disciplined to get through that book. If you're tearing into a 300-page book or whatever, there's a little bit of a discipline. And that's something that we need to be teaching our kids, and we need to be raising up people with just some discipline to be able to make it through those books and to read that good information. So that's definitely a big part of it. Another thing to cover with the leaders are readers part of it is that we've been going over these side businesses, and we've talked a lot about surrounding yourself with like-minded people, or people that are doing what you're doing, but they've already made it to where you want to get to. And sometimes that's really hard to find. If you're rural, or if you're not rural, you don't know many people, and that you're just uncomfortable with that. Those people can be great books. Surround yourself with books that talk about where you want to be at, what you want to be doing, because they're out there. Somebody's written a book about their accomplishments in their life. And I just really encourage you to pick up that book, pick up a book a week or a book a month or a book every 2 months or whatever you can get done, but make sure you're reading. So for this week, I'm really excited to tell you about the book that I'm going to read. It's called Mover of Men and Mountains. And this is just an amazing book, and this is such a great example of the type of reading that I really feel like we should all be doing. This book gives a person hope, and it just gives you such a sense of accomplishment almost after reading it. I haven't read through the whole thing, but I have read through some, so I kind of know what it is. I definitely know the story of R.J. Letourneau, just an amazing man here, and it's an example of how to be a great leader, and that's something that I want to really be. And it also encourages me that he was just a regular man with huge dreams, and you know, I'm just a regular guy, and I have big dreams too. And so he's made it, and he's just an amazing, it's just such an awesome story. So it's these kind of books that we want to be reading, that we want to fill our minds with. And if you have any thoughts on books like this, or what are you reading, what kind of books are you into, definitely leave that in the comment section below, because it's all about what we're putting into our minds is what comes out. And so let's put those things that are hopeful, that are encouraging, that are educational and uplifting us. Those are the type of books that we want to be reading and that are going to turn us into great leaders. So thanks so much for checking out this MindShift Monday. Thanks to Phil for coming in and sharing with us a little bit. We appreciate that. And we'll see you next time on MindShift Monday.